From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening, Fairbanks. Thanks for joining us. Our top story this evening. During their weekly meeting last evening, the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District School Board shed some light to a reason for placing the superintendent on leave.
Pete Lewis has been absent from the district since April 7th when the board announced they placed him on leave for reasons they did not release but did call not disciplinary.
The News Center has more now in this report.
Amongst allegations of continued sexual abuse of a 15-year-old male student by a longtime Fairbanks North Star Borough School District employee, the school board announced last evening the question as to why the school's superintendent, Pete Lewis, was placed on sudden administrative leave. The allegations against instructor Claude Folks has led to an internal investigation.
We are currently doing an internal investigation surrounding the arrest of Mr. Folks from one of our buildings. Absolutely take these allegations extremely seriously. Our concern always at the forefront of every decision that we make is in the best interests of our students and their safety.
The members of the board met in a non-public meeting and found that placing their chief administrator on leave was necessary to conduct what they call a non-biased investigation.
We felt that in order to make sure that a investigation is done clear of any bias or uncertainties, that our chief administrator be placed on administrative leave. This is not only to make sure that there isn't a perception of biases, but also to protect him during this investigation so that we can make sure that the internal investigation that's done is clear of any wrongdoings.
During the meeting, the board members stressed that there has been no official wrongdoings found. They asked that the public not formulate any opinions based on their actions of administrative leave. They say their concern begins and ends with the safety of their students.
At this point, we've asked that people not draw any conclusions, that this is not a finding of wrongdoing by anyone, that this is simply an internal investigation to make sure that all of our handlings were proper, and really focused on making sure that all of our students are continue to be safe and that we are operating in the best interest of the students.
This is Stephanie Woodard reporting.
City police are investigating an accident that occurred just after 3 this afternoon. Officers say a passenger car going east on Airport Way turned onto Cushman Street in front of an oncoming pickup. Police say the 24-year-old man driving the car was taken to the hospital by ambulance for treatment of a neck injury. The car was totaled. The driver of the truck escaped serious injury.
With the legislative session a few days away from wrapping up, work continues to get approval for an all-Alaska natural gas pipeline. The goal is to export Alaska's natural gas to Asia, where it is in high demand, as well as distribute it to residents statewide. The state Senate passed the bill last month, and it is now being heard in the House Finance Committee. Should the bill pass the legislature, permitting work would begin this summer. The project could create 15,000 jobs, but some oppose how it's written because it doesn't guarantee Alaska hire.
Then there will be a robust summer field season in parts of Alaska from Live and Good south. Last year, the parties examined the corridor from Live and Good north.
We wanted what was known as a project labor agreement because there's no better way to get Alaska hire than through a project labor agreement, which unfortunately was turned down.
With all the snow melting at a rapid rate, this will allow the Department of Transportation to begin work on numerous projects within the Fairbanks community in other parts of the interior. This was the subject of today's weekly general membership luncheon for the Chamber of Commerce. DOT will begin work on projects involving Airport Way to the Steese Highway, along with repairs on Johansson Expressway and another project from Airport Way down South Cushman to 28th Avenue. Other projects will include 10 major repairs expected to begin on the Parks Highway.
We have a couple of projects, big projects, that are going to be going on in Fairbanks, so we ask everyone to be really patient with those. The goal of any of our road construction projects are to improve safety and to provide a better transportation experience for people. So sometimes that means, a surface that's a lot smoother or additional turn lanes, better signals, that kind of stuff. But we have projects this summer on the Airport Way, on South Cushman, and then we will also be resurfacing the Johansson Expressway. Those are the projects that are actually in Fairbanks.
All right, when we come back, Alaska State Troopers honored a young man whose life was lost last year.
Also, we have our weekly health report. Those stories are next. Please stay with us.
Welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. 1 year ago, 9-year-old Shawn Brown died in a snow machine accident at the Arctic Man in the Hoodoo Mountains. This year, his mother and family received a wreath in his honor at the popular event. We have more now in this report.
Mother calls it Flat Shawn, and she says it makes her feel better being able to bring him wherever she goes. This year, he visited Arctic Man, where his mother got a pleasant surprise.
At our campsite, having lunch, and the troopers pulled up, and they stopped to talk to us, and they were talking about how 2 of the officers bought a really pretty wreath with flowers for Shawn, and they wanted to go up to the site and drop it off there at some point on Saturday. This was Friday when they came and talked to us. Some of our friends went up, and then 4 of the troopers went up there, and the conditions were really bad, and they only went to the bottom of the glacier, and that's where they put the wreath.
Eleanor says she was touched by the kind words of support, not only from Alaska State Troopers, but from the entire community.
Surprised that they did that, but it made us feel really, really good that they cared enough to do something for Shawn.
Finally, she said Shawn's kind heart and spirit would live on as he touched many lives in his time here.
He was just a beautiful soul, and he welcomed everybody. He had no enemies, and he didn't hate anybody. He wanted to be everybody's friend, and he wanted to do anything he could for everybody. He was such a nice little boy. He'd go out of his way for everything. And he'd give up his lunch money or his lunch for another kid just so they could eat. And he'd come home starving, but...
This is Stephanie Woodard reporting.
A bill on jury nullification won't be making it to vote during this session of the legislature. House Bill 316 by North Pole Republican Representative Tammy Wilson would expand and protect a jury's right to judge the merits of a law, not just the facts before them in a criminal case. It would allow defendants to argue that they should be found not guilty because the law they were charged under is flawed. Frank Turney has been working to get the law passed for over 20 years, and he says he doesn't plan to quit.
Regardless if they pass the law, jurors still have that right to judge the law as well as the facts and controversy and vote their conscience. I mean, another thing, if judges instruct jurors of the facts, why not have 12 computers that can compile facts? That's why we don't have computers, because jurors, most citizens, have a moral obligation to vote their conscience and render a verdict.
Most food that we see at our dinner table is probably imported, and some groups say that's bad for the economy and your health, and it could be unsafe during a statewide disaster. Last night, the Alaska Food Policy Council wanted to see the pros and cons of Fairbanks' food system. They asked the public to organize their opinions into different categories and create a wish list. The council will use these ideas to update their strategic plan for 2015. They've also traveled to Nome and Juneau, and next they go to Bethel because they want to create a current picture of Alaska's food system.
There's not a real economy around supporting local agriculture. There could be, and it's happening slowly, but right now, just like we import most of the food that comes into Alaska, farmers have to import almost all supplies and equipment from outside the state.
Well, it's the time of year when the snow goes away and dust, grass, and pollen start floating around. And while most of us welcome warm temperatures, for allergy sufferers, it sends their symptoms into overdrive. But as Monty Bowen reports in this week's health report, the FDA has approved an exciting breakthrough for allergy sufferers that could do away with those pesky shots.
If you are one of the millions of allergy sufferers in the U.S., rolling up your sleeve for an allergy shot is just part of life's routine. Some have dealt with allergies and asthma all of their lives.
It gets really hard to breathe, and usually your throat like it starts to close up and you itch everywhere.
Many people have indoor and outdoor allergies and require weekly shots. But now a new pill called Oral Air might replace allergy shots for a lot of people. That would be a major breakthrough.
First significant development in allergy treatment in the last 100 years. We've been giving allergy shots just the way we have been for the last 100 years or more, and now we're offering a new oral therapy for those who have allergies.
A clinic in Indiana has been involved in a nationwide study that tested Oral Air.
The study was done over the course of an entire year, and they were started on this therapy, given the treatment in advance of the allergy season. Then we saw how they responded during the grass season, and the results were very impressive.
Following FDA approval, Oral Air will be available to those who suffer from grass pollen allergies next month. This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Health Report is brought to you by the Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic, located in the Medical Dental Arts Building. Call 456-7768.
So, Daryl, Joe Cook is literally right
over there.
in the wings,
yeah,
over
he
there.
just didn't want to come here and tell us what's going on in sports, but I guess we'll do it for him, right?
Told you, Joe.
Go for it.
Joe, what should we say?
Yeah. Oh, it's right there in the prompter there.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
More news from over the weekend, including a former UAF hockey star making his NHL debut. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is. And there's more sports after the break with Joe, who's over there.
Right there.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here in the Sports Seat with your Tuesday Sports. We start with news from the big leagues. Former Alaska Nanook hockey center Cody Kunitz made his NHL debut Sunday for the Tampa Bay Lightning. After being a healthy scratch for 9 games, Kunitz played a little over 10 minutes in Tampa's regular season finale. The WCHA Player of the Year got 2 shots on goal, a block, and a hit as Tampa won 1-0 in a shootout over the Washington Caps. The win gives the Lightning the Eastern Conference 4 seed and home ice against the number 5 Montreal Canadiens in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Kunitz was interviewed by Fox Sports at the first intermission and described what his first NHL experience was like.
Stepping on the ice for the first time for warm-ups there, the guys kind of let me go out there alone and make a fool of myself, but I knew that was coming, and but yeah, it's a huge honor to be on the same ice as some of these guys. Definitely the speed and the size of the guys. Coming out of college, there's still some of those guys that are playing like they're in juniors and stuff like that. And so definitely the change in speed. And I think it was after my second shift, I kind of felt like I had played a full game already. So just gotta bounce back and get ready for the second period. Just gotta be smart and make sure that I'm not being too chancy with some of the bounces of the puck. But the biggest thing for me is just focusing on starting with the defense first, and then hopefully the offense will come.
And the UAF swim team is receiving All-American accolades after their best season as a team in years. Senior Benty Heller, juniors Daniel Lyons, Margot Adams, Gabby Summers, and freshman Victoria Adams and Nye Wynn placed on the College Swimming Coaches Association of America NCAA Division II All-American team. To be an All-American, you have to be a top 8 finisher in an individual or relay race. If you are a 9 through 16 finisher in a consolation final at an NCAA championship, you receive honorable mention All-American recognition. UAF Super 6 earned 24 total individual All-American honors. Victoria Adams had 6 in her rookie year. Heller finished her career with a national title in the backstroke and 14 All-America awards. Margot Adams finished her junior campaign with 10 All-American awards. The 5 relay teams were All-America worthy with 3 new school records as well. Freshman Nye Wynn collected 4 All-American awards at the NCAA Finals as a part of 4 of the 5 relay teams. Summers and Lyons were All-Americans as relay alternates. The Nanooks either tied or set a record in 5 events, finishing the year 14th at the NCAA Championships for the best finish ever as a team. Soccer season is almost here as interior schools will meet on the pitch hopefully by the end of the month with weather and field conditions permitting. In the meantime, teams are traveling for their preseason schedule. The Patriot teams took their first road trip to the Valley. The boys team split 2 games after falling 7-1 to Wasilla. They beat Palmer 4-1. Rafael Martinez had 2 goals in the win. For the girls, they dropped their first 2 games, 5-0 to Wasilla and 3-2 lost to Palmer, but they got their first win of the year Saturday, winning 3-2 over Colony. Lindsay Damel had 3 assists and Judith Hepburn scored twice. Hepburn has 3 scores in the last 2 games for North Pole. The boys team did not play Colony after a last-minute time switch. West Valley's 1-1, as are the Patriots to start the year. The North Pole girls are now 1-2. Lathrop will start their season this week against Colony, Palmer, and Wasilla starting this Thursday. Also over the weekend, high school basketball seniors had their last game in the Alaska Association of Basketball Coaches Senior All-Star Game. It was close in the girls' game, but the Blue Team Wolves defeated the Golden Bears 86-84. Hutchinson's Kiana Edwards scored 8 points with 3 boards in the win. Galena's Shayna Burley had 6 points and 3 rebounds, while Delta's Jess Reeder scored 5 and 6. Dallas Dickerson of ACS had a game-high 24 points in that game. In the boys' game, it was a 102-95 decision to the Golden Bears over the Blue Team Wolves. The Blue Team was stacked with Lathrop's Kyle Carlson, Monroe Scooter Bynum, and Trayvon Brackett of West Valley. Brackett tied a game-high 17 points with 6 rebounds. Bynum had 10 and 9, and Carlson, he had 6 and 5. Monroe's Tyler Wells had 8 points for the Golden Bears, while Colony's Damian Fope and Emmanuel Lopez of ACS both had 17 points as well. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Tomorrow we'll hear from a couple of Ice Dog teammates who commit to the same college. But Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again, taking a look at the weather. The clouds moved in today. Thank goodness it was today and not last night, or you wouldn't have had a chance to see the eclipse. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, well, we have a very nice photograph sent in by William Blizzard, who did capture it last night. You can see there, that's why they're calling it the blood moon. Beautiful colors, just gorgeous. Thanks, Bill, for that picture. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to photos at ktvf11.com. Numbers out at the airport right now, 46 degrees. Our high today, 49. The overnight low, 23. Record high, 61 in 1915. 13 below in 1964, sunrise and sunset. 15 hours and 13 minutes of daylight. That's a gain of 7 more minutes from yesterday. And our satellite radar does show some clouds and moisture moving in rapidly from the southeast, but that's the key factors. It's moving very quickly, and it's not even having a chance to drop just a few sprinkles, and that's about it. And that system was moving out of the picture. Once again, high pressure establishing itself again. What's going on across the rest of the state today? A little rain around Ketchikan. We have cloudy skies around Juneau. Also cloudy skies up and down the west coast and across the, for the most part, in the Cook Inlet area. And on the north slope, cloudy skies. But other than that, nothing really going on. 46 degrees at Fort Yukon today for the high there. The lower 48 weather tonight, more rain falling across the Pacific Northwest. We have sunshine over the deep south, a few mixed rain and snow showers across the central plains, and lots of sunshine over the northeast, and that's going to continue too. 72 degrees in Washington, D.C. Here's that frontal system we were looking last night that was dropping all the heavy rain across parts of the deep south, moving rapidly out to sea and up the east coast, and that's out of the picture. The next storm system, if it is a storm at all, just an area of low pressure moving across, bringing the showers across the central plains, and another storm system moving across the Pacific Northwest, bringing some little bit heavier rainfall. Today we have a lot of cold air behind this frontal system that moved in, and that's helping to create some very volatile atmospheric and things going on there, some severe thunderstorm activity. And of course the jet stream once again later on this week pulling more cold air down and mixing, causing more showers and thunderstorms. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Here's what it looks like. Cloudy skies in the northern sections with flurries at Barrow, rain and snow at Fort Yukon, and partly cloudy skies at Nome. Here in the interior we'll be looking at, for the most part, cloudy skies for Healy, Delta Junction, and Fairbanks, with temperatures very comfortable once again. Over southeast Alaska, a chance for rain at Ketchikan, cloudy skies at Juneau, and over the southwest part of the state, rain likely for Cold Bay and Kodiak with rain and snow in Bethel. And over the south central regions, we're looking at, for the most part, scattered showers for Anchorage and Homer, mixed rain and snow for Valdez. Okay, time once again for our weather fact, as this week we're taking the week off for the kids for Easter vacation. And in 1949, Troy, New York measured a 5.5-inch, 4-pound hailstone. That's one of the biggest ever measured in the United States, and that must have been quite an awakening when that thing hit either the roof or the cars or whatever. And next week we'll be, like I said, visiting with the kids from Crawford Elementary School. Here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 27 degrees, cloudy skies, isolated rain showers into the morning hours. Tomorrow forecast, looking at cloudy skies with sprinkles and continued warm, 50 degrees. And as far as the extended forecast, as you can see here, looking at 51 degrees on Thursday, 50 on Friday, and then a little bit cooler for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And overnight lows, once again, will be very, very mild. We're looking at temperatures, again, looking around the low 20s each day, and no precipitation in the forecast right on through the 5-day period, Daryl.
Oh, that sounds great, Mike. Yeah. I mean, actually, you were saying that yesterday, that this was a permanent pattern so much. It was raining just a little bit today, but
yeah,
you know, for the most part, it's still melting out there. Although it's not direct sunlight, it's ambient melting. I think it's great.
It's moving through real fast.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, there's some puddles everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Some lakes.
I'm glad I didn't wash my car, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great, Mike.
Yeah,
perfect forecast. All right, that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
And tonight on NBC Nightly News, remembering the victims of the Boston Marathon bombings 1 year later. That's coming up next with Brian Williams.
Remember, you can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime, webcenter11.com.
And that will do it from all of us here at the News Center. Have a good night. We'll see you back here at 11.
Good night.